Hi, I'm Dr. Christopher Burton. Today I'm going to teach you about how to outsource, how to overcome the overwhelm that a lot of physicians feel from having too much on their plate. A lot of us do the same common tasks over and over again, uh, but some of them we could probably find someone else to do for us, and there's some that if we got rid of would definitely change the way we go about our daily business. In his book 4 Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss talks about how a lack of time is really a lack of priorities. And that may sound ludicrous considering all the different tasks that are placed on physicians these days, but really it comes down to us prioritizing those things that we need to do and that we can only do versus those things that somebody else could do for us. Um, if we learned how to outsource, how to delegate properly, we could free up hours potentially every week just getting rid of some of those things that we do on a regular basis. One of the first steps to becoming a successful outsourcer is finding out what your own hourly rate is. What's your time really worth? So let's assume you take 2 weeks off a year for vacation or CME conferences. That leaves 50 weeks a year that you're working. So if you work, say, 50 hours a week, that's 2,500 hours a year that you're working. If you're working 60 hours a week times 50 weeks, that's 3,000 hours. Next step is to go ahead and divide your annual salary by the number of hours you work in a year, and that'll give you your hourly rate. For example, if you make $200,000 a year and you're working 2,500 hours, then your hourly rate is $80 an hour. On the other hand, if you're making $400,000 a year and working 60 hours, your hourly rate is about $133 an hour. So what is your time worth? That's probably the best way to calculate it. Whether you're seeing patients or doing your laundry, your time is pretty much worth, say, for example, $133 an hour. Would you pay someone else to do the things that you're doing at that same rate? Would you pay someone else to mow your lawn, do your dishes, or clean your bathroom for $133 an hour? I highly doubt it. So my next question is, what other things are you doing that you could probably hire someone else to do much less expensively? So go ahead and make a list of all the chores that you have, especially those things that you've been putting off. For example, cleaning out the garage, something that's probably been on my to-do list for a long time, but keeps getting pushed further and further down. Next to each of those things, go ahead and write down how much it would cost to have somebody else do it. And this isn't just a mental exercise. I really think it would be helpful if you just write it down so you can see it in ink, in pen and paper. For example, let's say you find a neighbor kid who will mow your lawn for $25. Takes him an hour to do it. His hourly rate's $25 versus your hourly rate of $133 an hour. Is it still worth it to cut your own grass? What about if you knew a college kid who needs some extra money? Would having her clean your house for $60 every other week be that much for you, really? It takes her 2 hours. Her hourly rate's $30 an hour. You're still ended up saving a lot of money over doing it yourself at your own hourly rate. So sometimes it takes a while to find the right person. That's usually the hardest part. But it's really rewarding when you free up time that you can be doing other activities like spending time with your family, doing hobbies, all those things that you really want to do but really can't find time to do on a regular basis. I've got two more questions for you when we talk about outsourcing. The first is, what is it that you do that takes up a bunch of time but is not really that rewarding for you? And the second is, what do you just absolutely hate doing? If you hate doing something, you really just should stop doing it altogether. Life is too short to be burdened with activities that you don't want to do. On the other hand, even if you could find somebody to do something for you at a cheaper rate, if you really love doing it, there's no sense giving it up. For example, my mom loves getting on her riding lawnmower where the phone can't get to her, nobody can bother her. She can just ride around the yard in peace and quiet for a while. My wife, she loves cooking and experimenting in the kitchen. For them, those activities are relaxing. There's no need for them to give that up. As you start learning to master outsourcing, give yourself permission to be creative with it. It's a lot of fun, almost like a game, to see what things you can outsource. These days you can outsource grocery shopping, lawn care, washing the car. You can even have somebody book your travel for your next CME conference, research the best hotel deals for your family vacation to Hawaii. You can have somebody make up PowerPoint templates for your next slide presentation. If you want to find an activity within 30 minutes for your next weekend that you can do with your kids, there's a lot of people out there who could research those things fairly inexpensively. Another thing that I've looking to do is all those old journal articles that you have piled up you haven't got around to, or things that you want to save. Find somebody who can scan those for you. Not only does it save you the time and the monotony of doing it, it also declutters your office, helps you free up some space as well as time. The possibilities are almost endless. About the only thing you can't outsource may be having somebody see patients for you. On the other hand, if you're in private practice, well, you could hire a mid-level provider or even get a locum tenens physician temporarily to cover while you go out on vacation. So the next step is, where do you find all these helpers? It's not as hard as you might think. Asking around the neighborhood, letting people know that you're looking for somebody to take care of the lawn. Asking people at church who they would recommend for house cleaning, or if somebody knows somebody who would be willing to do that. Typically, your network, the people that you interact with on a regular basis, have somebody that they know or that they're using currently. The other thing that I recommend is calling up your alma mater or a local college and seeing if there's any students who are interested in researching, or for whether it's travel or putting together slide decks for presentations. Probably the chances are pretty good that some kid is going to want to be able to make a little money, and they'd probably rather do that than, say, working at a fast food joint. The hardest part may also be giving up control. I find that as physicians, we tend to be a bit perfectionistic. Maybe it's just me. No one else battles with that. But sometimes it's hard when somebody doesn't do something the exact same way we would do it. But really, in the end, does it matter? The task got done, and I didn't have to do it. So if they mow the lawn north and south, and I would do it east and west, it really doesn't matter as long as it looks good at the end and my wife's happy, of course. It took a while, but my philosophy slowly has changed. I've learned to let go of a lot of those control issues, if you will. And I'm almost getting to the other end of the pendulum swing, where if I could find somebody to do all my daily tasks, all my chores, I might just be tempted to take them up on it. Except for two things. Those tasks, those chores related to taking care of my kids. I would never want to give that up, just because as unexciting or unappealing sometimes as changing diapers sounds, being with them and spending time with them on a regular basis, it's not something I would ever want to give up. The other activity is creating new content for you. I enjoy that, and I like being able to help my fellow physicians. So for me, that's not something I would ever want to outsource. The beauty of outsourcing is you find so much more time to do those kinds of things that you want to do. You begin to prioritize, as we talked about at the beginning. What is it that you want to spend your time with in life? I free up time for doing things that you actually get paid for as well. Sometimes you will have to complete charts on the weekend to catch up, but at least doing documentation and billing, it makes you money so that you can have more time and be able to buy the needs that you have and do things that you want to do with your free time. There's a long list of chores, again, that you could outsource. I recommend just being as creative as you can. One of the things I'm thinking of trying to do is find somebody who could make Indian food once a week or once a month for us. It's one of the few things that my wife and I, between us, have not been able to master really well yet. So we may just have to bite the bullet and outsource that at that. Find somebody who can really do a good job at that. So that's why I'm here today. I want to help you be able to take some of the stuff off your plate, free up your time, get rid of some stress. I want you to have a fulfilling career and a fulfilling lifestyle. We went into medicine to be able to be a benefit to others, and when we're running around, feel like we're swamped over our head and stressed out, it's hard to be a benefit even when we are present. So if you want to get the tip sheet today, or the Cliff Notes version of our Outsourcing 101, go ahead and go to ChristopherBurtonMD.com/Outsourcing 101, all one word all together. That's ChristopherBurtonMD.com outsourcing 101. You know, it's going to free up your time. It's worth the effort that you're going to put into finding somebody to take over those chores. So enjoy the freedom that it gives you. Again, I'm Dr. Christopher Burton, and I look forward to our next lesson coming up soon. Thank you.